Wealth, health, and happiness. We all chase them in that order, but their importance is reverse. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erkka Suvando. Some of you call me EJ. Still the guy on social media who wants to build a legacy for his kids and pass on all the life and business lessons to each and every one of you. Welcome back to my weekly recap, and this time it's episode number 2. I started last week talking about some of the weekly things that happened in my life, whether they were business, personal, whatever, in a more informal way. And I plan on continuing doing this until the foreseeable future. This week I wanted to talk about 2 things. I wanted to go deeper into happiness, a topic that I covered extensively in a couple of my other videos on my YouTube channel. So if interested, you can take a look at those. Plus also, in addition to that, I want to discuss raising kids, how we make our older kids, the ones who are already adults or reaching that age, ready for life. And what is the role of parents and the child himself or herself. But let's start with happiness. I've had my own personal struggles over the years. I've had my ups and downs. I've succeeded and I have failed several times. I believe life is full of micro losses with an occasional win. I'm a big believer in learning how to deal with those losses on a daily basis. We can practice it. Happiness to me is a skill that I can learn. And I'm living proof of that. I've always been I would say, overly optimistic guy out there. I haven't been known as the most positive probably. I haven't been negative either. But over the last, I would say, 3 to 5 years, I've come a long way understanding what happiness to me means, and I'm now willing those lessons and those theories with each and every one of you. And there is no magic bullet here. I just want to highlight that. I understand that everybody is different. We all have our tools that work for us, but I think the word tool is key here. Attitude or just willingness to work on something is not enough. It's not strong enough. Our motivation might fade over the years, but when we have the proper tools in place, we can actually turn peace into happiness anytime we want. And I mentioned the word peace. To me, peace is the inner peace is the ultimate thing that we want to achieve, because peace can be turned into happiness. When we desire nothing in life, we are satisfied, we are happy. When we break that pattern of wanting something external, whether it's money, somebody's attention, or whatever that is, external validation, we break that pattern, that harmony. It's like the old saying goes, careful what you wish for. We don't want to disrupt the happiness circle with too many outside wishes. But yes, under the name of innovation and moving the planet forward and improving personally, we also need to pick those topics that take us to the next level. So we can't just be satisfied all the time, because then we wouldn't be moving anywhere. And life is about making mistakes, going forward no matter what. I think the secret there is to look at it one desire at a time. Because desire is a contract you sign with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. I think that's good to remember. That's just my view on it. But if we look at that initial statement that I made about wealth, health, and happiness, and how everybody's chasing that, and usually in that order. When we are young, if we look at 3 age-related parameters, so being young, middle-aged, and older. When we are young, we don't have money, but we have all the time in the world, and we still have our health. When we reach that middle-age threshold, we start to have more money, we still have time, but it's kind of in between type of an era. But when we are old, we finally realize that we have all the money we probably ever needed, but then we have no more time or health left. So all of these 3 stages, they are all missing something. So the question is, how do we combine all these 3 elements time, health, and wealth, if that's what we are after. And ultimately, we reach our happiness state. To me, like I mentioned, happiness is a learnable skill. I'm living proof of that. And to me, it starts with one thing. It's about understanding that there's nobody else who can do it for me. There are plenty of people who have this fundamental delusion that there's always something or someone out there that's going to make me feel happy and fulfilled forever. It's the same as outsourcing all your problems. It's called deep insecurity. If anything, what I have learned about people and relationships over the years is that people with deep insecurity are very toxic. So the advice I would give to my own children about this is that when people show their true colors, believe them quickly, preferably the first time, because it never gets better. People with deep insecurity, they're always the first ones outsourcing their problems. They never look at themselves in the mirror. And that is super dangerous. But if we are competent and skilled enough self-aware to understand that there's nobody else, then the second step is that there's always going to be pain and adversity in life. And this is the key. The sooner we learn how to deal with that pain and adversity, practicing it, how to face it, how to overcome it, and how not letting that bother our daily life, that to me is the secret. I mentioned in some of the videos that I was the type of person who always thought that trouble, pain, adversity didn't apply to me. I was super naive. Why? Because my theory was that I worked so hard, I was prepared, and I always had this big picture in mind. I was able to see around the corner until things started to happen. And I'm lucky actually, and I'm happy they did, because I learned so much. But there's no such thing as bad things not happening. It's only a matter of time. And even if we could avoid all the trouble in the world, if we could stay in our comfort zone, what kind of a life would that be? That would be easy life, right? But then we would never be able to test what we are truly capable of. To me, life is a game. A business is a game. And my job, my job is to find out how good I truly am in the end. And that means making mistakes, dealing with micro losses, and also getting to deal with some occasional wins as well. That's called life. So it's about going full steam ahead, making mistakes, and learning how to enjoy that ride. That's my 2 cents about happiness. The second topic I promised to cover, and this is something different. I've been an active real estate investor for close to 20 years. Me and my brother started this, what used to be a hobby, and then it turned into a profession later on. We started buying properties, fixing them, and then renting them out. What I call them buy and hold type of deals and properties. Mostly smaller apartments close to schools in the university town here in Finland. And we've been able to see the market going up and down and developing over the years. And the last couple of years, there have been a couple of trends. Number one, there's been more supply. So the rents have kind of stabilized. They went up year after year for many years. And there was a really good market, booming market for landlords and people owning real estate. Now it's different. Interest rates are higher and all of that. And rents have not been really being able to keep up with inflation and rising costs of maintenance and HOA fees and so forth. That's not the point. Also, another trend is that nowadays, young adults, I'm talking about kids between the ages of 18 to 22, our typical tenants. In the past, they were okay with smaller units, and I guess living standards have gone up and people have more money maybe, and then demand for higher and bigger, more luxurious apartments seems to be there. But at the same time, in the past, when these young adults were able to handle all their things by themselves, calling me up and setting up appointments and handling things. Now, over the last couple of years, I've seen a trend where parents are doing a lot of that work for the kids. I just listed a property this week And I wanted to talk about this because this is one of my passions as well. And of course, while well intended, of course, every parent, I believe, deep down in their heart wants to do what's best for his or her kid. Absolutely. No question about it. Same with me. And we all make mistakes. I'm on the same boat. But what's troubling to me is that now with this latest property that I just listed, there have never been more adults, parents, moms and dads, calling me directly on behalf of their adult children. And I'm talking about kids between 19, 20, and 21. And literally, I've had 5 or 6 phone calls this week, texts and emails about mom saying, hey, well, my this and that is looking for an apartment. And I'm like, okay, I understand. Why don't you ask your son or daughter call me directly? Oh yeah, for sure, this and that. Okay, he is there and she's there and they might not be able to pick up or whatever. So I decided to do it on behalf of him or her. So I'm not sure if this is a bigger trend in the whole society. In many places, I believe so. But I think it's very alarming. If I use a very black and white term, I think we are raising zoo animals. We are overprotecting our kids. And what that means is that we all know animals in the zoo. I'm not comparing kids to animals in any way, but this is just an analogy. So what happens to zoo animals when you really release them out to the wild? They get killed in 17 minutes because they don't have the skills to survive. That's the point. So if we overprotect, over-coddle these young adults, they never learn the skills and they never learn how to deal with the micro losses that life is all about. Like we just talked about when it comes to happiness. It's all about those micro losses. And the micro losses, in terms of number of them, the number of micro losses will be higher than the micro wins. It's lots of losses with an occasional win. That seems to be the ratio between the two. So it's just interesting. And I think, like I said, well intended, of course. Every parent does what he or she thinks is best for the kid. But I think we should be looking at the big picture here. We should let the kids fail early in their life. And this is not about failing, it's about dealing with reality, learning how to talk to an adult like me. It's about sales. You present yourself, you present the idea. Okay, I want to rent your apartment. Can I come and see it? This is not rocket science. So it's just, to me, something that I wanted to address. I believe I'm going to be talking about this in my upcoming podcast with my friend as well. But something to think about. I'm passionate about kids, adults making mistakes, learning from them and moving forward regardless. So the sooner we teach that skill to our children, the better off they are. And that's why doing sports early in your life is a very good way to learn how to deal with losses and wins, because that's a safe environment guarded by adults where kids can really try this out. That's all I had for today. Thank you for watching. Next week, weekly recap number 3, topics unknown. Let's see what I come up with. Until then, please join my channel, subscribe to it, like the video if you did, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.